Alright guys, I'm back and Season 5 of Call of Duty Warzone has just dropped and we are going to go over the top 10 loadouts that you should be using in Season 5. Now, they're very sorry, I haven't fully unlocked and ranked up the two brand new weapons in Call of Duty Warzone, the EM2 assault rifle and the Tech 9 SMG. So they would be up on this category and I will tell you where they will come up, but they are two viable guns which I shall be using when I eventually unlock them. Now before we get into it, make sure you hit subscribe and like button, turn notifications on so that you never miss an upload. Now, the weapons. My first loadout, which I think is gonna be one of the top loadouts that you can be using in Warzone, the Krig and the Mac 10. In Season 4, a whole new patch notes came out with a lot of nerfs Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War weapons. The Krig was not one of them, and now it's an absolute laser beam. What we are going to use on the Krig: ADT suppressor, sound suppression, bullet velocity and effective damage range with an increase of vertical recoil control. Really helpful. The suppressor doesn't really work on the Krig, so ADT suppressor is a must-have attachment. Let's go to the barrels. You want to use a 15 mil-spec barrel, as it gives you the most bullet velocity and effective damage range out of all these barrels. And as an extra bonus, it helps with horizontal and vertical recoil control. It does give you downsides of aim down sight time, but the aim down sight time on the Krig is very good. And this barrel is going to be your must pick attachment. If you do not like having the aim down sight and the sprint movement speed times decreased, you can always put on the Ranger, which will give you the same range but will only decrease your hip fire. But the 15 mil spec barrel is definitely the best one, which you should be using on the Krig. Ammo: 45 round mag does not decrease your aim down sight time, so the 45 round mag is a must have attachment, and the Krig isn't really a fast fire rate gun, so 45 will be a perfect amount for you. The optic: Actual Arms 3x optic is 100% the best optic to use on any assault rifle at the moment. If you do though want to go and equip any of the new reticles, the central reticle is a really good reticle. The Clean Living is a very good reticle as well. I personally just like the T-pose as the default reticle, but if you want to change your reticle, do go and change it. On the barrel, I use a field agent grip, just some even more recoil control, which will help you out even more. So, and you can literally feel zero recoil with this thing. It's absolutely unbelievable. So there is the best Krig 6 class and one of the top ARs. Now we move on to the Mac 10. This Mac 10's been around for a long time now, and we all got familiar with the builds. Sound suppressor, task force, tiger team. I'm using the SAS combat stock as I prefer it to the Raider stock, but any one of these two will be absolutely fine and perfect for you in Warzone. No stock works as well, but SAS combat stock is the one that I be using and the best one that you should be using. And then just a Stagnag 53 round drum just to top it all off. This Mac 10 build is absolutely amazing. It helps so much as an SMG, and this will continue to be one of the top SMGs out of all the SMGs. And we've got new perks of Tempered and Combat Scout, which I'll be getting onto later, and then a Thermite and a heartbeat sensor. You can really use any one of these, and heartbeat sensors are super helpful to seeing where your opponents are when you can't physically see them. I go on to my second class as the AK-47 Cold War and the Modern Warfare MP5. This class I've been trying out today. This thing shreds. I'll give you the class setup. This thing is an absolute laser beam. The Grew Suppressor, for the same reasons as the Agency Suppressor: max range, max bullet velocity, max recoil control with a Grew Suppressor, a must have. And then you want the Spetsnaz RPK barrel, just for more range, more velocity, and horizontal recoil control, some vertical. Perfect. Spetsnaz grip, because the Cold War AK has got a bit of kick, so you need to learn the recoil pattern, but the Spetsnaz grip just tightens it up even more, so you feel like there's not much there. 45 round mag is perfect, because this gun is not a very high fire rate, but hits like a truck, so 45 rounds is perfect. And then the actual arms 3 times again. Modern Warfare MP5 class, we've known for ages: monolithic integral suppressor, bullet velocity sound suppression, perfect. Merc 4 grip for hip fire, 45 round mags, 5 and W laser for hip fire accuracy and a bit more movement. I prefer the FTAC collapsible stock. You could put sleight of hand if you're playing squads or trios. That's when the sleight of hand will come in. But other than that, FTAC collapsible stock will absolutely improve your movement so bad, and there is not much recoil with the gun anyway. And a massive tip using this gun: you don't really need to aim in, because the hip fire spread on this, if you're just looking at your target, is gonna hit and is gonna feel super really good. So hip fire on this gun is amazing, which makes this gun, the MP5 Modern Warfare, one of the top SMGs. I would have to say top 3 SMGs right now. Absolutely banger class right here. I've only been using it a day and a half, so still very new, but this thing and these 2 weapons together shred. Next one, I feel the Stoner is an underrated gun. Out of all the LMGs, the Stoner now is probably the one that you want. Agency suppressor for max range. Okay, so I haven't fully unlocked the Stoner all the way. Max grade barrel works really well for me. Task Force will also work really well, but the match grade still gives you max bullet velocity and effective damage range with recoil control. So I like to use the match grade barrel, but you can use Task Force as well. Field Agent grip, just for benefits of helping with the recoil. I use the 120 round mag, but because for an LMG this thing only has a base of 75 rounds, which isn't a lot for an LMG, so 120 round mag just helps so bad, so much. Actual on 3 times optic again, even though I feel like with the Stoner the 4 times optic is a really good choice. Sticking that reticle on there again, and I feel this 4 times optic is a better choice than the 3 times on the Stoner. Now, one of my top favourite SMGs, the PPSH. I feel like this thing has come up over the months and is now one of the top SMGs. Sound suppressor for more movement, bullet velocity and sprint to fire time, and aim down sight. We're not using a task force barrel, we're using a Tiger Team spotlight for extra movement. We're using a 71 round drum mag, so you will literally never run out of ammo. On. The bruiser grip for extra movement speed. And I really like, on this gun, the Spetsnaz PKM stock. It just feels, this thing, like an absolute laser beam. You could use this sniper support, you could use this AR support as a normal SMG, and that is why this PPSH is one of my favourite guns in the game. Next class, the AMAX and the Bullfrog. The AMAX class we've had for seasons and seasons onwards. Monolithic suppressor, the Zodiac barrel for more bullet velocity and recoil control and damage range. Then we use the Commando foregrip, even though if you really want to and you're kind of not finding the recoil and it's a bit too bouncy for you, the Ranger grip really helps, and it takes away a bit of aim down sight time, but it's still very snappy. But once you've mastered that, the Commando foregrip, then the 45 round mag, and then the 3x VLK optic with the T-pose reticle. We've seen this and we've used this and we love this for ages. Even though it did still get nerfed twice, this thing still beams when you're hitting your shots. A couple headshots as well using this really helps. And the Bullfrog, oh, the Bullfrog. The Bullfrog is one of my favourite SMGs. I have a lot of favourite SMGs, and the Bullfrog has to come into one of them. A GRU suppressor for more bullet velocity, damage range. You can use a sound suppressor, but I feel like the GRU suppressor just helps the Bullfrog to get to its full potential. The task force for strafe speed, damage range and bullet velocity is a must on all the SMGs. Bruiser grip for more movement. Tiger Team spotlight for, again, another movement boost. And the KGB skeletal stock or the Spetsnaz PKM stock, whatever one you prefer. I'm going to use the KGB skeletal stock with the Bullfrog. This Bullfrog class has immense strafe speed and is perfect for any situation and doesn't have much recoil. Then we go on. The Ram 7 and the MP5. Ram 7 for me is probably one of my favourite ARs, as it's I feel personally that the Ram 7 is a bit underrated. With all you've got the Krieg and the EM2 now, I feel like the Ram 7 definitely slits into a very meta choice. With a monolithic suppressor, the Ranger barrel, the 3x optic, 50 round mag and the Commando foregrip. As long as you master the recoil, you will absolutely destroy with this build, as it is such a laser beam. And I would honestly give this class a go. If you don't like it, you can move on, but I'm sure if once you use this will become your top AR. Now I'm going to show you actually a Cold War MP5. So the Cold War MP5, I use a very different build than some of the top players use. I use the agency suppressor just to give the MP5 a bit more range, and it really helps. I use the task force for extra range and stray speed. I use the Ember sighting point for hip fire accuracy. I use the field agent grip to help with the recoil, And then I use the 50 round drum mag. This is a very different build to what you guys, I'm sure, are used to. Give this build a go. This build helps and is so good. So give this build a try. I know we're all used to using the Raider stock on this, and maybe a Serpent wrap or an Airborne Elastic wrap, a Tiger team. Give this a go. I'm sure this will become your new favourite build on the MP5 Cold War. Now, the new sniper has come along. The Kar 98's days are now still high, but the Swiss is now king. I use a sound moderator just for it gives me bullet velocity, aim down sight time, and is perfect for the Swiss. You want the combat recon barrel for a huge buffing range and bullet velocity. You want to use the bruiser grip on your Swiss just to give it some more movement. You want to then use the SWAT 5MW laser just to tighten up your aim down sight time and your aiming stability. And another change with the Swiss optic, which is a sniper scope optic, they've given the cross thread reticle from the Kar 98 as the base optic, so you do not need an optic, and just use any one of these wraps to give you a bit more aim down sight time and flinch resistance. Try this. This Swiss now, personally for me, is better than the Kar 98K. And I use a PPSH again with the Swiss. I just feel the PPSH works so well with the Swiss. Same build as last time, it just connects so well. Perfect for situations, because the PPSH does have a bit of bounce, awkward bounce, but as one of the fastest TTKs, and it's amazing. I always have an experimental class, which for me is the Farah. This thing was first a close range gun, then a long range gun, got nerfed, and I still think with the Groove Suppressor, the Spetsnaz RQP barrel, can't say that properly, the Actual Arms 3x optic, the 45 round mag, and the Spetsnaz grip, this Farah, is still a beamer and can still do high amounts of damage. And then a gallo. If you're walking into a room and there's someone with a gallo, you might as well just not even shoot them. The gallo, close range, oh my god, is another level. Absolutely top class. And you want the sound suppressor, the reinforced heavy, Tiger team spotlight, the 12 round mag tube, and the SAS combat stock. If you're pre-aiming, going into a building, and there's somebody there, you're gonna win with the gallo every single time. You can't defend against the gallo. It's impossible. I have a solo loadout when I'm playing solos. It's an AS Val, which is a very unique gun, has a built-in suppressor. And what you want to use is the VLK 200mm barrel, damage range and bullet velocity. It's better than any of these barrels. The 5NW laser, 30 round mag, the Merc foregrip. No, not the Merc foregrip. The Stovall 6P30 stock and sleight of hands. And this gun has top 3 time to kills out of the entire game. This and the Fennec. It's got the fire rate is super high and the damage is super high. 30 round mag though only makes it good for solos and duos. Anything above that, you're just gonna run out of ammo really quickly. And the OG Kar 98K works really well with it. We all know the build: monolithic suppressor, Zingard 27.6 barrel, tac laser, sniper scope, and the Stall precision comb stock. We've all used it, we've all loved it, the Kar 98K. Now, with my ghost classes, I always like to be running a ghost AR as the Krig, which is the build from earlier, with any pistol you like, preferably the AMP 63 pistol, with now that buff of 30 round mag is gonna be really viable. And honestly, you could use that as your actual loadout, but I don't have that. I just use the Renettis, which are still great option, and you got to be a bit more accurate with these, but you can still give them a go with. And then a Ghost SMG class as well. Ghost SMG class, just in case I've been bought back a couple last zones, I can get a loadout. And I need to get a ghost class. I don't want to be running a AR, so to have this Mac 10, which is the one from earlier, just is perfect for those last scenarios where you're gonna feel the most. When you've got an AR, it's gonna be very stressful because you're in close proximity and you've got an AR which is long range. But having a Mac 10 there waiting for you is just like perfect. So I would always make sure you have 2 spots for Ghost, an AR and an SMG. I would make sure you have an experiment class as well. So there you have it. There is my top 10 loadouts for season 5. I hope you've enjoyed it, and hope these loadouts are going to help you out. Try them and get to know them a bit, and if they're not working for you, then I don't know, you have to try and make them work for you, because these are the best loadouts. And now the EM2, I would say if you've got that, up level it straight away, and the C58 as well. Both of those, up level them straight away. They're S tier, proper, really good meta ARs. Tech 9, however, is going to be an absolute pain to unlock. One, the first time you get it and try and unlock it, it's a single shot, so a semi-auto. So if you have a good trigger finger, that will work for you. And then you get the burst version, which is a 3 round burst SMG. And then once you've up leveled it to level 46, then do you get the full auto version. And once you've got the full auto version and the task force, the Tiger team, the SS combat stock, and the 40 round mag, it's still only a B tier to A tier. I would still prefer the MP5s, the Bullfrogs, the Mac 10s, the PPSH, the Tech 9, but the EM2 and the C58, they're going to be your kings, with the Krig at the top of the table for season 5. So make sure start using these classes, hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all later.